Hello everyone, Prof. Swagger here, and today we're going to be doing another Reddit read. We're going to be getting today's story off Am I the Devil? It was originally on Am I the A-Hole? Let's see what the title is. Would I be the a-hole if I transfer all my money out of my savings account back into my checking account and maybe even dissolve the savings account altogether? Weird. Let's get into this, I guess. I, 23 male, currently live at home with my parents. I work full-time as a veterinarian assistant and have actually acquired quite a bit of money from a combination of walking to my job, smart spending on my part, and having only a few monthly expenses. Ever since last year, my parents have been trying to convince me to open a savings account and put most of my money in the account, something which I've been quite reluctant to do. For reference, when I was a teenager, I spent all the money in my account without knowing it, and it kind of had a bad effect on me, so I've tried to be more financially responsible. I used to have over $30,000 in my checking account before yesterday. Whoa. Last week, my mom made an appointment with a financial advisor that me and her would attend together, which we attended today. I wanted to put no more than $1,000 in my saving account, but both my mom and the financial advisor advised against that, saying that it wouldn't be a whole lot, that I wouldn't get much interest from that, and that having so much money in my checking account made me at risk for fraud. I held firm for most of the meeting and even briefly lost my temper on my mom. Don't worry, I didn't hurt her. What the? Why would... It's weird that you felt the need to say that. But eventually I caved and allowed them to make a savings account, put $20,000 into the saving account, meaning that I now have $10,000 in my checking account, though I can transfer funds back to the checking account. I'm ashamed of myself for not standing my ground. I could have ended the meeting at any time, and yet I stayed and allowed my mom and the financial advisor to gang up on me. Mom seems to think I've gotten over it, but I haven't. Now I have less money in my checking account, despite the fact that I'm about to have a filling and crown that is going to cost around $600 with insurance. I'm really pissed at my mom and seriously questioning if $40 in interest every month is not seriously worth having less money in my checking account. I'm seriously thinking about transferring all my funds back into my checking account without telling my parents, maybe even dissolving the account altogether. I'm also considering making a complaint against the financial advisor. What if I do this? Would I be the a-hole if I do this? Yeah. You have $10,000 in your account? You're worried about $600? Bro, get some perspective. And $600 is nothing. Having it in a savings account is smart. You gain money that way. And like you said, you still have access to it as much as you want. What's it matter? And I don't know about... Very childish. Like, if you didn't want to do it, you didn't have to do it. Stop blaming them like they brainwashed you or something. They made points that you apparently agreed with, and that's why you did it. You're definitely butthurt. See what these comments say. I feel like the comments are what's going to really make this guy be the devil. First comment, what would your complaint be about the financial advisor? That the person gave you good financial advice? You need a psychologist, though, and maybe a math teacher. This fear of yours is overtaking responsible approaches to saving money and earning interest. You're concerned that a $600 expense will drain your $10,000 balance, but not worried either about losing interest income or about potential for fraud. This isn't an a-hole situation, as it's your money and you can do what you want with it, but it will affect you in the future if you can't create a retirement account, put your emergency fund in interest-bearing savings account, and otherwise deal with financial decisions. Not the a-hole, but seriously consider mental health help for your irrational responses. That's a really good sum up right there. That's good. Next comment. CPA here and not a financial advisor. Kid, you gotta get a grip. You have $10,000 in your checking account. You're going to pay $600 for a crown, of which you will make back 7% in the first month. You're not even being penny wise and pound foolish. You are robbing yourself of free income. You can, 1, be pretty sure you're not going to spend 10 grand without knowing it, and 2, can set up overdraft protection in case you do, right? I have it set up. At the very least, $40 a month gets you 8 Starbucks. You're the a-hole. I feel like the first person had it right. Not the a-hole, but there's somebody who has some real issues they need to talk through. But somebody responded to that second comment. In addition to overdraft protection settings, my banks let me set up balance alerts if my goes below $500, so I'm aware. I get to set that amount that I want for alerts. Also, you can check your bank account balance at any time with most banks in case you are unsure. I feel like my bank isn't that fancy and most have things like this these days. There's no reason for OP to be unreasonably paranoid about accidentally spending all the money in their checking account. I will only allow 2 months worth of expenses to sit in checking, and I will transfer over everything extra to savings so it won't be touched. I'm less likely to spend all my money if my checking balance stays low because transferring money out of saving makes me feel irresponsible. It's like an extra step that acts as a deterrent for frivolous purchases. Not a bad idea. Next comment. Why do you think you need $30K in your checking account? At the very least, get a high-yield savings account for most of it. Jeez. Losing your temper at your mom when she's trying to help you protect your money is crazy. And what complaint are you going to file against the advisor? They tried to give me advice. Good luck with that. You still have 10 grand in your checking account. You know how much you need in the account to pay that $600 dentist bill? $600. Right? Somebody responded to that. Agree with all of this. You're the a-hole, but am I the only one bothered by don't worry, I didn't hurt her? Right. That's insane. Why would you need to say that? What, like, that was never, oh, he's angry at her, he's going to punch her in the face. That never went through my mind. It was, he was angry at her, so maybe he yelled at her or something. That was my, because again, you're also in public. So the fact that he needed to say that's insane. Somebody responded to that. I didn't physically hurt her. All abusers everywhere be like. Somebody responded to that. That really bothers me too. Like, geez, is this kid so violent normally that he has to specify he didn't get violent this time? You know? And let's check out a couple more. Next comment. Bro, what? Listen to the financial advisor. Someone whose profession is literally finance advisory and probably has dealt with more money than you or I have seen in accounts. At this point, you're describing a hurt ego. And blowing up on your mom in public, good job for not hurting her, I guess. You should probably seriously think about where this rage comes from, because I'll tell you what it's not, the money. Something deeper is happening and you're thinking of rebelling and doing the exact opposite of what is professionally advised. Somebody responded to that. The "don't worry, I didn't hurt her" was frankly the most concerning thing I've read on Reddit tonight. I wasn't worried you had until you specifically felt the need to mention you hadn't. That's not a normal thought to clarify, in my opinion, and worried at the level of rage OP gets to if he needs to clarify. Somebody responded to that. The angriest I've ever got in the vicinity of my mom, I threw a pillow at the floor, and that was because I was angry at her cancer had come back. I wasn't mad at her, just the cancer. There was never any thought I would hurt her. She was annoyed I was throwing her pillows, but they were throw pillows. Finding out your mom is sick is a good reason to be mad, not getting good financial advice. Somebody responded to that. But they were throw pillows. Made this a really cute story. I hope she's doing better. Next comment. I think you need to post to "Am I an idiot?" because the answer is yes. You said so yourself. You can move the money whenever you want. Why the hell would you run a checking account above $1,000 and not earn a return on the rest to try and limit inflation eroding the value? Right? Somebody responded to that. I'm extremely financially cautious and like to have more in my checking than I really need, and even I don't run it over $5,000 for more than a day or two between a paycheck and a big expense, and I have actual expenses, including about $2,500 in mortgage payments every month. Final comment we're going to read from this thread. Who do you think you would be an a-hole to? You don't sound financially savvy at all, so you would be an a-hole to yourself. My understanding is you had $30,000 in one account. You now have $30,000 between two accounts, one of which is now earning interest. You can move money between the accounts. I don't understand why you were so opposed to having a savings account. Right. Literally just giving you possibly more money. That's it. Let's look at the comments for the "Am I the Devil" post. See what they got to say down there. The "don't worry, I didn't have to hurt her" has me very concerned, to be honest. Has he hurt her in the past? Also, if he still has 10 grand in his checking, that $600 isn't going to hurt, and he can just, like, move it from his savings if he's that worried, right? Somebody responded to that. The "I don't worry, I didn't hurt her," they were just quoting. That really stood out to me too, personally. If I was talking about getting mad at my mom, I would say, "Don't worry, I didn't raise my voice," because I used to have a problem with yelling. Problem was during teenage years, right? Next comment. I raised my eyebrows about the "don't worry, I didn't hurt her" part also. That's really a red flag to me. The fact that he thought that when they were with another person makes me wonder what he does in private, you know? Response to that. He also acts as though he will never have any more money deposited in his checking account. Is he not still working? Somebody responded to that. It's been 9 hours. He hasn't made a single comment. No other comment/post history, and the account was made today. This post makes him look incredibly stupid, engagement bait, and he put that bit in about hurting his mom, more engagement bait. This is rage bait. Now we're at 13 hours and still no replies. So a lot of people are thinking this is all fake. Which is, I mean, yeah, if he's not replying to anybody, most people with real stories would reply. But yeah, it just sounds like somebody who's got some issues who needs to talk out in therapy. Comment down below, let me know what you think. We can have a conversation. I want to thank you for clicking on this video. Hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, try to be kind out there.